You're watching Force 13's live streaming service. Force 13 Live, on behalf of Force 13 US, this is the latest severe weather briefing. Force 13 US are already live tonight with the ongoing severe weather coverage that is active right now. We've already seen one very destructive tornado so far today, with the possibility of many more in what is going to be a very serious Easter tornado outbreak by the looks of things. And to talk about it with me on this hour of coverage, extra coverage, is our team, which consists this time around of David, Ethan, Nelson, Craig, and Euxinator. Good evening to you all. Afternoon.
Hi, Nathan.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So for the moment, we are running two streams on our Force 13 network right now. This briefing, which will sort of sum everything up, we hope, on the main channel, and the live coverage on the Force 13 US channel. And we'll be running this for an hour, and then you'll want to hop over to the US channel for the latest. So this is what we're looking at right now. You can see the full picture and where we're at. A PDS tornado watch has been issued for a large area, and also a general tornado watch further south. Who wants to talk about those and the areas that they include?
I can pull those up
Ethan?
right now. Yep, so right now on my screen is currently the first tornado watch. As you said, it is a particularly dangerous situation, which means it is an extremely dangerous watch and that you need to monitor the weather closely. This watch goes until 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time tonight. Really, the general area that is affected under this watch includes portions of southeastern Arkansas, extreme northeastern Louisiana, and much of central Mississippi. There is a general talk of a extension of this watch further east into portions of central Alabama within this hour. It would not surprise me if that also goes PD. With this watch, there is a 80% chance of a significant tornado, 90% chance of a regular tornado, as well as a 90% chance of 10 or more severe windy events in this watch. Moving further on, we have a general tornado watch further to the south. This is for portions of Louisiana and southern Mississippi, barely missing the New Orleans metro.
Yeah.
The metro is not under it. This also goes until 8 p.m. tonight. Generally with this watch, there is around a 50% chance of a tornado, 30% chance of a significant, and a 40% chance of 10 or more significant damaging wind, with some hail risk with that watch as well.
Nelson, you're in that area just south of that tornado watch. How's it looking at your place?
It's very windy at my place right now. My weather station is currently showing winds of over 20 miles an hour, peaking at around 30 today. We've had issues of flying debris already, and the line of storms that's currently training through Lafayette is still hours away from getting here. I was relieved to see that the tornado watch did not include metropolitan New Orleans, but does include a lot of the suburban areas around the city.
Now, Nelson, it would not surprise me if later on today, perhaps they extend this watch to maybe slightly.
I could see that happening, but we've had discussions. We've been preparing for this situation for a couple days now, and it generally happens that once a line of storms gets to around the Baton Rouge area, maybe a little bit east of it, there simply isn't enough energy in the swamps and the marshes around New Orleans for the line to maintain a really severe potential. It does happen, but the overarching idea is that usually it'll break down, but that doesn't mean that areas just 10, 15 miles north of New Orleans won't experience those conditions.
And who would like to talk about what we've already seen today so far?
All right. So, we've seen so far quite a bit of activity. There was a tornado that hit Monroe, Louisiana,
Yeah.
that caused a lot of damage. Heavily damaged a few homes, not destroyed. And currently, there are a bunch of cells that are firing up in Mississippi, as well as
Yep, you can see
some.
them on the screen here as well. From there were some injuries reported from that tornado earlier, but we don't know the real extent of damage properly yet, even at this point. And that happened, must have been what, an hour and a half ago at least.
Yeah, it happened around 12:30 p.m. EST. Like it happened like probably more than 2 hours ago at this
Yeah,
point.
they're very easy to lose track of time in these situations. And from what I was hearing on local traffic, saying that someone had apparently been hit in the face with a block of wood in particular, but that it was not a serious injury. So that's what I heard in any case. So, we don't know the full extent of damage there yet, but it is quite extensive. I did hear about a gas leak, down power lines. So that was all in the Monroe area of Louisiana.
Yeah, and I want to also point out that like this happened like way before like activity because like we have even started to hit the area of time where the activity is really supposed to like ramp up and start to get
Yeah.
and starting to get at its peak. And that's not even for like another 2 hours, and we're seeing this type of activity.
Yeah, we're
It,
really not even started yet, and what time are we on now? It's 19Z, so the models were expecting, can correct me if I'm wrong, that it would really fire up in about 2 hours and that the peak would be 4 to 6 hours, something like that.
yeah, and I also want to point out,
Roughly, yeah.
I also want to point out that the tornado in Monroe did issue a tornado emergency for that storm, so
Yep.
we've already seen a tornado emergency today. And the likelihood of seeing another tornado emergency is honestly pretty high.
But in regards to the moderate risk in general, the question is how significant is this event going to be? And the big thing around this event is will the cap break? If the cap breaks, then we're going to have a lot of significant tornadoes. If the cap doesn't break, then enjoy your Easter and go out and have a nice week.
I,
Crikey.
um, I do not see this busting. I think the cap will indeed break. At least Mississippi and Alabama. I don't know. I don't think it'll break in Louisiana. Um, hopefully it won't. But I can definitely see this being a really significant event because the amount of shear hap right now is we haven't seen this much shear since the 1970s. So
All right, who wants to talk about this tornado warning that's out there right now, just crossing I-55?
I suppose I will here. Well, I'm looking at velocity values right now, and just northeast of Goodman right now. There is some potential for a weak tornado. If I had to guess, this is not a tornado at this time because there are other factors that say that this is not on the ground. But it is certainly something to watch as it pushes off towards the north, towards Salus, and potentially towards, if it holds long enough, towards Ackerman and Starkville long range.
And this is the one that passed very close to Yazoo City not so long ago.
Yeah, there was reports of some significant damage out of there, I believe, and some tornado folk even coming out of that area.
In fact, is this actually the same cell that went through Monroe? Because I'm just seeing that there, and
Yes.
yeah.
This
So,
this cell has actually been tornado warned for quite some time.
yeah, look at it go.
It's it got tornado warned around Shreveport, so it's been going for quite a while.
And are these systems moving quicker
Well
than
over.
usual?
What was that, Nelson?
I was just going to add on that it's been well over an hour that it's been tornado warned, if not closer to 2.
I'd say it's over 2. And what were you saying, Nathan?
I was just asking, are these systems moving more quickly than usual?
Around in Dixie Alley, not really. It's typical to see storms in Dixie Alley moving at around 50 to maybe even pushing up towards 90, 100 miles an hour. But right now, this tornadic thunderstorm, it's moving at 55, probably closer to 60 if I had to guess. That's generally the case around Dixie Alley, which is the Gulf Coast state. These storms developing near Baton Rouge and back by Lafayette, those storms, people in the general moderate risk area need to watch very close. The models have been really hinting at the storms exploding, and we could see some significant tornado potential on those as they move around, probably 40 or 50 miles off to the northeast.
Yeah, so it is actually somewhat quiet at the moment. There is that one tornado warning and a severe thunderstorm warning down there, but I'm not seeing much else on the picture just yet. When do you think this, I mean, could this be a very sudden thing that might just happen in the next hour, or are we talking more gradual ramping up? And we did already see a first sort of wave not so long ago when I wasn't watching fully, but was there 3 tornadoes at the same time?
There was a triplet, yes.
Yes, there was actually in one storm there was 3 small tornadoes at the same time reported by the National Weather. So
Wow,
that's quite significant.
And then there was
So,
there's been a pair of twins as well, and I think that was from the same exact storm.
yeah.
yeah, believe it or not, it's not actually that uncommon to have 2 or maybe even 3 tornadoes on the ground at the same storm. What it is very uncommon though is to have one storm have several areas of rotation, because you can have one giant tornado and then have several tornadoes orbiting around that
Yeah.
parent tornado. They're called sat. But this wasn't the case of that. There was 3 individual areas of rotation within one storm. It's very much a case like Pilger, Nebraska a few years ago. Not to that level, of course, but
All right.
that.
Oh, where was I going to go next? Yeah, so what locations would you say are most at risk today?
Birmingham.
Oh, by far, central Mississippi and central Alabama. Really anywhere in those areas are most at risk.
Yeah.
So a lot of
I'm
these
gonna.
areas aren't currently under watches, so...
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Central Mississippi right now is currently under watch. We are expecting a particularly dangerous situation tornado watch to be issued for Alabama in a few minutes.
In a few minutes?
According to the National Weather Service, that they are currently in coordination with the SPC of a PDS watch for that area. And it would not even surprise me if portions of western Georgia pushing toward the Atlanta metro also get a PDS watch at some.
Yeah.
Um.
Yes.
Excuse. So I would like to call. I'd like to mention Birmingham because that city is like in the middle of all of this. Like it's dead center in the middle of the moderate risk. So Birmingham, I think, will definitely be affected somehow.
Yeah, and we'll wait and see on that one. And what's the timing for Alabama onwards?
Well, I can pull up the National Weather Service here. They are, right now, the general thinking by the National Weather Service. The storms will enter Alabama through 10 p.m. tonight, and then maybe even pushing through Birmingham between 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. generally. That's the threat time for that area. And then portions east of Interstate 65 and east of Montgomery 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. for the time. So it is extremely, very important that you have a way to receive warnings tonight as this line pushed off towards the north and east. This includes portions of Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and maybe even portions of Florida and North Carolina. It all depends on how quickly this line moves off towards the east.
Yeah. And also, we had reports yesterday that a lot of shelters, or some shelters, would not be opening due to coronavirus concerns, and some of them changed their minds. Are there any places that aren't going to be open today? Do we know?
I
Now,
have no.
I do remember that there was one town, I'm not sure where, but they were not going to open shelters. I believe it was in Alabama. That town is still not opening their shelter at
Right.
this time.
So, if you're watching and you don't know the status of your shelter, you'll definitely want to check that out as soon as you can, as to whether you actually do have a shelter to go to. It's a pretty dire situation. I think we all have the opinion that the tornado is a much more immediate threat. Those shelters should really be open.
Absolutely. And what's quite apparent across Dixie Alley is if you look back in history, Alabama is the #1 state in the U.S. that is prone to tornadoes. And within Alabama, very few houses have an underground shelter. Any shelter, period. So really, if you're under a tornado warning, what you really want to do is you want to go to the most interior on the lowest floor of a building. That will keep you. It won't keep you 100% safe from the elements, but it'll keep you the most safe possible.
All right. Well, we'll be here accepting questions all of this hour on the Force 13 main channel. The Force 13 US channel is running extensive coverage on this live right now. You can navigate over to their channel through our channel page, or just search Force 13 US, or even extend your URL to Force 13 US/live. And they'll be continuing after we finish this briefing. But this our show really is more talking about what's to come rather than what's ongoing. But if there is a pressing matter, we'll throw it over to their coverage. But if you do have any questions as well about your area, and there's already been a few that's come in, we'll get to them shortly. Do send them in. Start your message with Force 13 all in text.
And Nathan, to go on about the shelters, I'm looking at an Alabama news site. At least 12 counties will have shelters open once a tornado watch is issued. They do ask that you bring hand sanitizer, masks, gloves, anything that you need to keep yourself as safe as you can, considering the coronavirus outbreak. However, the following counties, Butler County, Coffee County, and Montgomery County, open, and Montgomery is going to be very close to that high risk area and could see storms later today that pose a significant severe threat.
You cut out there. Those three counties you mentioned, those are closed, are they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Butler, Coffee, and Montgomery.
All right. So that's that one. And again, we're still looking at that situation. The one tornado warning that's currently in effect, you can see it on Nelson's screen right now, and that's severe thunderstorm warning also. There haven't been any more just yet, Ethan?
Now, that tornado warning was actually just updated and it remains radar indicated. However, if you don't mind, I'd like to go over the current day one outlook by the Storm Prediction Center. Right now, they are outlining a moderate risk, a level 4 out of 5 risk, high, of course, being the for portions of northeastern Louisiana, southeastern Arkansas, really extend over towards Georgia and portions of southern Tennessee. This is mainly going to be a tornado and wind-driven moderate risk. It was upgraded to moderate levels for wind earlier today. Some locations in this moderate risk include Atlanta, Georgia, Birmingham, Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, Columbus, Georgia, and Jackson, Mississippi. If we look at the tornado probabilities at this time, we are looking at a 15% significant threat area for pretty much all of the moderate risk currently, and with a 10% significant surrounding that for much of the Gulf Coast, including portions of central Tennessee. And then looking forward at the wind risk, there is really a significant damaging wind corridor that has been outlined by the SPC, extending from east of Shreveport, northeast to south of Nashville. This does include the Jackson, Mississippi Metro, the Huntsville, Alabama Metro, Greenville, Mississippi, Monroe, Louisiana, which has already seen a tornado already,
Yep.
and portions south of Nashville even. The
Yes.
hail threat generally outlined by the SPC is going to be around the Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas area with potential for large hail extending across Louisiana and Mississippi, potentially as the line moves east. However, looking forward into the future, this is the day 2 outlook. The SPC has outlined an enhanced risk across the eastern coast, with a slight risk really extending from the Gulf Coast area near where Michael made landfall in October 2018, north towards northeastern Pennsylvania. This is mainly going to be a damaging wind day. However, an isolated strong tornado cannot be ruled out during this day. Hail, not much of a threat for tomorrow. However, we could see some isolated hail tomorrow as well.
And how strong are we expecting those winds to be? Because there's a lot of places right now under high wind watches and warnings and wind advisories.
Well, generally, when you're talking towards the severe weather side of, for today at least, you're generally talking 70, 80, maybe even pushing 90 miles an hour. That's getting up towards PDS, severe thunderstorm. However, for tomorrow along the eastern seaboard, we're really talking 60, maybe even pushing 70 miles an hour. Outside of this, you're probably looking 50 miles per hour, maybe even pushing 60. I've been seeing isolated reports of when around 45 miles an hour in my neck of the woods up here in Indianapolis at this time. So, certainly some high winds on the outside of this event.
Is that currently at your place or expected?
Around my place, we've been seeing reports from chasers in the area.
Oh, wow. Okay. So there we have it. And any more news on that tornado warning then?
So there was actually a extension. The tornado warning for Kosciuszko, Durant, and Goodman was continued till 2:45 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and so that storm's still going. Still has something on the ground, or at least it's radar indicated. So still keep an eye on that storm if you're in those areas. Oh, wait. That was odd. It was... Okay.
Well, here it is on our screen once again where that current tornado warning is. Radar indicated, as you mentioned. Trying to get the right thing on here. The velocity. And it's not currently there, but we saw it earlier and there was no obvious signs of a tornado. There it is again. So there we are right now. Just east of Durant, off I-55, and headed towards the east-northeast roughly.
I just want to say right now, as of some soundings that have been observed by the National Weather Service, it is confirmed at this time, due to the rapid clearing that is occurring south of Interstate 20 right now in Mississippi and Alabama, the cap right now across Alabama is breaking. So we will be seeing some extremely powerful storms tonight in that area due to this cap now being broken.
And how soon do you think that will be then? 2 or 3 hours?
It's really hard to narrow it down accurately, but I could say it could be as early as maybe 4 hours from now for Alabama, or it could be as late as into the early hours in the morning.
And this will be going on all night, won't it, no matter what?
It'll be going on probably for the next 48 hours or so, this whole event.
Yeah, and actually someone did ask about North Carolina not so long ago. I mean, even that far east, we're looking at potential effects down the road.
Wait, you said the cap's breaking really quick? Just want to confirm that.
Ethan?
Yes, the cap is breaking at this time.
Okay.
But we had a question there about North Carolina. What do we think about potential impacts there?
Well, right now, for North Carolina, the main threat is going to be tomorrow as this line pushes off towards the earth. There is a 10% significant tornado risk east of the Interstate 73 corridor going close to the Outer Banks, not quite all the way, but we could be seeing a strong tornado or two in that area. And for that same area, we're also looking at a quite significant damaging wind risk. So it would not surprise me if we see a pretty strong lines of storms extending really from southern Georgia all the way up potentially as far north as Pennsylvania. In my opinion, certainly it'll extend as far north as at least Washington, D.C.
Wow.
at this time.
And Devon did have some thoughts, didn't he? We'll be hearing from him. I think he'll be on the US stream later on today about his neck of the woods, right? And up at your place, Ethan, you're just on the edge of a marginal.
Yeah,
And is that all guided by the winds then? Yeah.
I'm not actually sure. Let me have a look real quick.
Alright.
Yeah, up here it is mainly going to be a damaging wind risk if there even is. But however, to our south and east, maybe a little bit, there is a 2% tornado risk. So we could be seeing some isolated tornadoes even.
All right.
If we're talking hail, it's mainly going to be south of Interstate 64. That is where the hail risk is going to be for us tonight.
We haven't actually heard from Craig yet, so welcome back, Craig.
It's been a while.
It is, and we're still doing what we've been doing, severe weather tracking. You've always been big into that, as far as I can gather. And you're monitoring central Mississippi right now.
Yeah, I've been watching the current ongoing tornado warning that's still present. I mean, I know I did miss the tornado emergency that it did prompt earlier, but I mean, hearing the triple tornadoes at one time in the same cell is, I mean, that's truly something. But then hearing the confirmation that the cap is starting to break, I mean, I'm hoping that nothing serious happens, but then again, that's more hope now. But I mean, I'm hoping everyone can really stay safe during this severe weather event, and especially keep safe, especially during the coronavirus situation. Especially if you are seeking shelter with others, which I do hope that everyone remains safe. But this is, to be honest, probably going to be the start of a very long.
Now, I know that we've been receiving a lot of questions at this time. One of the biggest questions that really every single meteorologist watching this has for this hour is, will the SPC upgrade to a high risk at their outlook, which is due in about half an hour? That remains to be seen. In my opinion, I think a high risk should be issued for central Mississippi eastward towards Alabama. But will the SPC follow suit? That is a question yet to be answered.
I agree. Like we were saying that it should have been issued earlier when they released the outlook at 12:30 p.m. Right before the tornado emergency occurred. So I definitely think that there should be a high risk.
Yeah, did you incorporate that question that we just got there, Ethan? Do we think there'll be a PDS watch for northern Alabama?
Yeah, I already took care of that.
Yeah. There was another question that we had quite a while ago now that I wanted to get into as well. Trying to find that one again. At the moment, I can't. Well, there's the radar in front of you at least, whilst I try and search for that one. Looks like a severe thunderstorm warning's been put out ahead of that tornado warning. Is that tornado warning expiring now?
I'm not sure if they're going to be expiring it. It wouldn't surprise me based on what I've been seeing. The warning statement
on the GR is saying that the tornado warning for southern Holmes County is canceled, but we'll see if that gets extended.
Well, I do know that they are issuing a severe thunderstorm warning, or have issued a severe thunderstorm warning. Locations under this warning include Louisville, Ackerman, and Weir. This goes until 3:15. Possible tornado, quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So that has what that's.
Yeah, we did get another question earlier about Atlanta. Any comments?
Well, Atlanta, it's going to be one of those major statements that I said earlier. It's going to be a night threat in Atlanta. So we're talking probably at dark for Atlanta. So right now the western part of the metro west of Interstate 75 is under a moderate risk. However, if you're going east of Interstate 75, that's an enhanced risk. There is a significant tornado chance outlined by the SPC for really all of the area. So there could be some strong tornadoes there as the line pushes east. If you're talking more of a damaging wind threat, it's going to be you're looking off mainly more towards the north and west. However, we could be seeing some damaging winds as it approaches the metro overnight. Hail not too much of a threat for Atlanta, so.
All right. Well, I think at this juncture we thought. Did you think we'd be a bit more busy by this point?
Personally, no, I didn't really think so because, as you can see on the radar, there's a lot of convection over the area currently,
Yeah, there is.
really we're only seeing clearing south of Interstate 20, and as that clearing continues to get more north, the atmosphere will continue to become more unstable, and we'll be seeing more stronger storms as that pushes north.
Another question about what are we expecting in Charlotte?
That's mainly going to be for tomorrow,
Yeah, tomorrow.
concerning the threat.
Yeah,
We
won't
could be seeing some isolated damaging winds today even, because Charlotte right now is under a slight risk of severe thunderstorms. So the main threat there is, of course, going to be damaging winds and some hail events and a possible tornado.
There's also another side to this outbreak as well, isn't there, with more winter weather on the way?
Yep. Let me pull up the winter side of things here. What I do know is we have a long train of winter storm warnings, as you can see on my current screen share, extending from central Nebraska, really north central Nebraska, all the way up to Michigan Panhandle, or the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, I should say. We could be forecasting some significant snowfall out of this event. I'm not sure exactly what the totals are, but I have been seeing isolated reports of about half a foot to a foot in some areas under winter storm warnings right now. So significant snowfall is probably occurring there. Quite a lot of the country under some sort of high wind advisory or watch, wind related warnings.
There we are. There's a more better resolution image of the National Weather Service map and the full picture. It's remarkable to see all of those brown shadings, all wind related warnings. The greens there's a lot of flood related watches out, mainly in the northern part of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and a large part of Tennessee.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, only a few counties are excluded from that watch.
Yeah, tonight's gonna be a wild night. I expect these storms are something to take seriously. Like yeah, it's Easter and all, but at the same time, this is not your normal. These are not your normal storms. These are really bad.
Yeah, potentially, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know where we want to go next, but are we? Can we confirm that tornado warning's finished now, or?
I am. Let me have a look here. What I've been, it remains in effect on my screen. Yeah, a tornado warning remains in effect until 2:45 p.m. Central Daylight Time, so only about 12 minutes or so for Central Attala County. Let me see what we're seeing on velocity here in a second. I'd imagine, going by what I've seen, I'd imagine that they'll probably be canceling this tornado warning within the... so they won't be reissuing it, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, we have some questions. Will this storm system hit the northeast, and if so, how severe will it be?
New England area, this will not be affecting you up there.
Okay, that was short and sweet.
Severe weather, at least.
What are we expecting for Mobile and the eastern shore of Alabama?
For Mobile, it's really a question of if the storms can get down there. That's the main question. If the storms can, then we're probably looking at maybe a strong tornado at best. It's mainly going to be a damaging wind threat down there in Mobile. They're under an enhanced risk currently.
I see
The
another
metro
question.
right now, it's kind of bordering on that line between the 10% significant area and the 5% area. So it's a fine line for Mobile. However, the enhanced risk driven wind threat for the region covers the metro area. However, once you get down towards the coastline, it downgrades to a slight risk equivalent. So there is some threat for a tornado or two tonight, but it's mainly going to be a damaging wind threat there.
All right. I do see another question. When is South Florida gonna get hit with severe weather? Now, um, now tomorrow is when Florida's gonna get hit with severe weather. However, the severe weather is mostly gonna be up in North and Central Florida, not necessarily in Southern Florida, because I know Tampa is under the marginal risk. I'm pretty
Tampa
sure.
right now is under a thunderstorm risk,
Yeah.
and it's almost under a marginal for tomorrow.
Tallahassee,
Yeah.
they're slight, aren't they, right now?
Yes,
And
they're
Gainesville.
also in sight for tomorrow.
And Jacksonville on marginal.
Yeah, you got
For both
Gainesville
days, yes.
also there. So.
Actually, my bad. Tallahassee for today is under a not Tallahassee. Jacksonville is under a marginal risk today and a slight risk tomorrow.
Oh.
So if I had to guess, judging by what the SPC has for them right now, the line will probably be weak. Be weak if it's moving into the metro tomorrow.
All right. So we're again watching this bulk of activity move across towards the northeast, and we're really waiting with some kind of trepidation as to when this thing is really going to blow up, which we think is inevitable now.
I would 100% agree with you. This is not going to bust at this point.
Yeah.
How can you be so sure about that, Ethan, just for the average Joe out there?
Well, if we look at the overall environment, there's rapidly clearing skies across Mississippi and Alabama, and this is leading towards a much unstable atmosphere, which means stronger storms. If this clearing had taken its time, like we would have seen on March 28th with the moderate risk across Illinois, we didn't really see much activity up there because of the cloud cover up there. However, this is not the case. We are seeing clearing skies, which, as I said, is leading towards more unstable atmosphere, which is going to lead towards stronger storms.
All right, let's see if we can get some more questions. There was a question addressed to you, Ethan. What is CAPE?
CAPE is simply the amount of energy that we have in the atmosphere, and which going off of CAPE, I guess we can pull up the models here. So currently on my screen is the latest HRRR run. This is hot off the press. So
Okay.
right now, the HRRR is forecasting CAPE to remain quite favorable across the Texas area, but other conditions such as the wind shear and moisture and dew points in that area aren't going to remain favorable for storm development. However, I've been seeing some shear values, if I'm not mistaken, near 100 knots at some point. But for tonight, we're looking at around 2,000 CAPE, maybe even pushing 3,000 in some positions. So that's enough for some strong tornadoes tonight.
And there it goes. And I don't know if we've discussed this on air yet or not, Ethan, but the SPC staying with moderate risk for now, and we're going to find out whether that changes at the end of the hour. And you think, and a lot of people on the team have thought, that it should be high. Are you sticking with that?
I am indeed sticking with a high risk at this time, and I guess I'll pull up my outlook. So this is what I am outlining for tonight. As you can see, there is a high risk of severe weather that I am forecasting, at least, extending from central Mississippi through central Alabama into portions of northwestern Georgia. It is mainly going to be a damaging tornado threat with a 30% chance of a significant tornado in that high-risk area, with a moderate risk surrounding that extending up towards portions of Tennessee. unlike the Storm Prediction Center, I am forecasting some quite significant damaging winds across Tennessee. It took, if I'm being quite frankly, it took forever for the SPC to give this today 45% significant wind. I've had it on the cards for quite a while, and with an enhanced risk, of course, surrounding that for portions of Kentucky and a large part of Georgia and Louisiana.
All right.
So if I had to guess, I would probably trim the enhanced risk across Louisiana and the slight risk as well, given that the activity has spread further east.
So then comes the obvious question: if you and a lot of people who have, a few years of tracking these storms by now, are putting on high risk, why aren't the Storm Prediction Center?
Well, right now, if you look at the SPC's discussion, the only thing pretty much that they need to run with a high risk is more confidence. That's all they need.
Right.
So right now, I feel confident enough to run with a 30% significant tornado risk, hence why the high risk is placed on this image here. But the SPC at this time does not feel confident enough, so there's no high risk. Though that could change within 20 minutes when their outlook is going to
Yeah.
come out.
And we'll stay on the air for that.
I just want to point out real
Yeah.
quick. Speaking of, it could change within 20 minutes. I think it might already be starting to change. As the storm by Carthage, Mississippi, might be forming a wall cloud. So.
Okay.
And I'm just going to take this opportunity. That tornado warning that was in effect is now cancelled.
Yes, it has been canceled.
Yeah.
Craig,
And there was also... oh, sorry, Nathan.
can you identify any other areas that are looking particularly interesting right now?
Oh, there's a few areas in the line where our old tornado warning cell was. They haven't really got going just yet, but at the minute, I mean, it's like waiting for the first bubble to rise in a boiling pot of water. Which one will go first? So, not really much interesting at the minute, but I'd maybe give it the timescale that already allotted or that's already given. In that time frame, you'll probably start seeing a lot more interesting stuff occur.
Ooh. Can I share my screen really quick?
Yeah.
Looking on radar scope, and
Take us a little moment to get your
getting my screen share ready.
Alright, we'll show this for the time being. This is Force 13 Live, severe weather briefing ahead of this significant severe weather outbreak tonight. The US channel is running live coverage right now. You can go on to their stream by searching Force 13 US Live, and they will be continuing after we've finished up here with our outlook at the end of this hour. Ethan.
I'm not sure if you've seen, Nathan, but there's quite a potent severe storm currently going on south of Oklahoma City right now. It's got quite the hail core on it, actually.
Yes, and they've just
right now, the
issued a
National
severe
Weather Service-
thunderstorm warning on it.
It's been out for a few minutes now, but right now the National Weather Service is giving this ping pong ball-sized hail that's 1.5 inches and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts as it pushes southeast, interestingly, at around, I believe, 50 or 60 miles an hour.
Gee.
30, actually, by the National Weather Service. It's got quite the hail core on it, we'll say.
We'll come back to that. Yuxinator, go ahead. Okay, we're not getting him right now.
I think we've lost him.
Well, we've got his screen. This is what he wanted to show.
We've got no audio.
He's fiddling around with the buttons. That ain't working so well. Okay.
Oh dear.
Oh well.
It'll be alright on the night.
So let's examine this Oklahoma City storm a little bit more. Just hovering along I-35 right now.
I forgot. I forgot I pushed the talk on.
Oh, okay. We'll We'll get you back. Where's he gone?
All right.
Going to try and let's see if we can just get quickly a reflectivity on this though.
So, do you guys have my screen?
We'll
Yep.
have it in just a moment. Oh, so many buttons. We're with it now.
All right. So I have noticed that right between Carthage, Kosciuszko, and Philadelphia, Mississippi, there's this large, what looks to be wind core or hail core. This is severe warned, so this could turn into something. But I noticed this, and obviously this is what looks here. And if you go to the coefficient, I'm just on the what's it, on with the R, but this is what it's showing for the values here.
Yeah, we're struggling
And
with
so,
your signal a little bit, but sure.
that's fine. Yeah, no, it's because I'm using push to talk, which I usually don't use. But this storm could end up seeing something, as it looks like there's already
Yep.
some sort of hail or some sort of like it's already strong already. So watch a storm here.
And where is that again?
This is heading towards Louisville, Mississippi, or a little east or west of Louisville, Mississippi, northwest. Like it's heading northwest of Louisville.
All right.
Retains its current path.
Just to get a close-up on that system just south of Norman, Oklahoma as well, again. This is what it looks like right now. Looking rather impressive, Ethan.
Right now I'm getting hail values pretty close to 2 inches, not quite. The maximum hail size that I'm seeing right now is around 1.75 inches. I'm not sure what size that correlates to, but that's quite a large hail for this area. I believe that is under a marginal risk at this time. Let me double check on that. Yes, marginal risk for that area. It would not surprise me also if we see continual development of storms like this in this general area, as the SPC has outlined. The general hail threat area is going to be towards the southeast of this.
There are a lot of areas
for
of convection
southeastern-
ahead of that as well, aren't there?
Yeah, those could become hail producers in the next few hours or so.
So they'll be tracking mainly into Arkansas by the looks of things.
Generally, yes. But we also could see some track into extreme northeastern. So we're really talking east of Interstate 35, south of Interstate 40, west of Interstate 49, and north of Interstate 20.
And what do we think of those little flare-ups right now just north of I-10, the Texas-Louisiana border region?
Those little flare-ups, those probably won't go severe.
So where are we looking right now for the ignition point of this big blow-up that might be that we think will be happening pretty soon? Is it going to stem from that current tornado? What was a tornado warning? Is it going to come from further south, those cells moving through Louisiana or somewhere else?
For this general tornado threat, we're really looking around the Baton Rouge, Lafayette area. We're seeing some heavy rainfall and borderline severe storms in that area right now. Those storms are pretty close to the coast, as Nelson said, so the environment generally that they're in there with the marshland around them, they're struggling to intensify. But as they move further inland, they'll begin to intensify quite rapidly, probably, as they approach a more favorable atmosphere as they move off towards the north.
Okay.
So
Nelson,
really, those are the ones.
looking at Louisiana right now, any points of interest?
Not really, besides those storms that are around Baton Rouge. That line.
No, I would agree with Ethan on that.
Alright, David, have we heard any more news out of Monroe from that, what sounded like a significant tornado impact earlier? Is he with us? Has anyone else heard anything from there?
I haven't heard much new news at least.
What I've been hearing out of Monroe, Louisiana at this time is a community. The name of it is on the tip of my tongue, but there has been at least 20 houses destroyed in that community.
Cherry Blossom?
Yes, thank you. There's been significant amount of damage at the airport there, and there's also been quite a few homes damaged. What EF rating is this tornado? I cannot say. We're really waiting on some more accurate damage photos of the area. But if I had to guess, generally, we're looking probably at the EF1, EF2, maybe EF3 range for that tornado. Generally speaking.
Alright, how long do you reckon until that next SPC outlook?
Probably within the next 20 minutes or so. And
Are they
speaking of the
usually
SPC,
early or late?
they'll probably be late on this, probably.
Okay.
They have actually just issued severe thunderstorm watch number 108 for somewhere. I'll get the latest on that new watch here in a minute or two.
Alright, so we will stay on until that news surfaces. But until then, we're just spotting more than anything. If you do have any questions to send in the next 10 minutes, start your message with Force 13 all in text during this severe weather briefing. I don't know if anyone wants to do a recap of what we're going to be expecting overnight tonight.
Well, generally overnight tonight, as this line of storms intensifies and approaches Alabama, it'll probably be, if I had to guess, in and around the east central Alabama area, as around the midnight time frame, and then really in the overnight hours, it'll push through Georgia, maybe even pushing towards a bit of South Carolina.
Is that a severe thunderstorm watch out now?
Yep, I just got that. A severe thunderstorm watch has been issued for parts of Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas.
Hold up, I got breaking news. There's a new tornado warning for Starkville, Mississippi, Ackerman, Mississippi, and Weyer, Mississippi until 3:45 p.m. Central Day.
So again, that was the same cell that produced those earlier tornado warnings that's continuing sort of east-northeast, and you can see Starkville there just about inside that red polygon.
We're just gonna jump in.
And it's observed, by the way, so...
Yeah, I was gonna say that tornado is confirmed.
Hang on, Nathan. Sorry.
Yes, David.
I had to change headsets. I was sorry. I wasn't expecting this, viewers. We were simulcasting onto Facebook, but unfortunately, I've had to stop that stream. And yes, and the activity on Twitter, Nathan, over the last coming up for the hour, has been extremely quiet. There's hardly any information coming out. Although I think, Ethan, there might be an update to the SPC.
The SPC will be coming out with a new update in the next few minutes or so.
Also, I got some bad news. The cap has now broke in Mississippi.
That was relayed quite a while ago.
Oh, it was? Oh. I didn't hear about it till now.
Well, if you've just joined us and also didn't hear about that, there's another confirmation. So again, this is the reflectivity looking at that tornado warning right now in Mississippi towards Starkville. And not sure what we make of that.
Right now, locations under this tornado warning include Weir, Ackerman, Sturgis, Longview, Starkville, Bethlehem, and High Point. This does include portions of the Mississippi State University. This is a confirmed tornado, so take shelter immediately. Do not wait. and also penny-sized hail possible with that storm. And we just had a new severe thunderstorm warning come out for Leake and Madison counties in Mississippi until 4 p.m. 50-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch hail possible with that storm.
Oh, that's much further north, isn't it?
I believe so.
Is it? I'm trying to figure out what that is. There's a flash flood warning.
That new warning is just northeast of Jackson. That's severe thunderstorm warning.
Yes, I see it now. There's also a flash flood warning that's been issued in northernmost Mississippi.
There is also one in Alabama. I'll go over those real quick. There is a flash flood warning in effect for eastern Tate County in northwestern Mississippi, northern Panola County in northwestern Mississippi until 5:30 p.m. At 2:28 p.m., Doppler radar estimates 1 to 3 inches of rain has occurred over the past hour, and flash flooding is expected to begin shortly for those areas. Moving off towards the east, there is a flash flood warning in effect for Florence and Muscle Shoals in Alabama. This is for southwestern Lauderdale County and central Colbert County until 5:45. At 2:47, Doppler radar and automated gauges indicated thunderstorms predicting heavy rain across the warned area. Up to 2 inches of rain have already fallen with an additional 2 to 3 inches of rainfall expected. Flash flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly. Get to higher ground immediately for those areas.
Yep, and just another reminder that during these, serious situations, whether it's flash flooding, whether it's tornadoes, evacuating is the best thing to do. It doesn't matter what restrictions are in place in terms of the coronavirus. You got to get away if it's unsafe at wherever you are right now.
I do have the information on that brand new severe thunderstorm watch. The National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center has issued a severe thunderstorm watch for portions of far southwest Arkansas, southeast Oklahoma, and northeast Texas. It really beginning right now and going until 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time tonight. Main hazards with this watch include scattered large hail and isolated very large hail events up to 2 inches in diameter possible, as well as scattered damaging wind gusts to 70 miles per hour possible. An isolated tornado or two cannot be ruled out with the stronger supercells.
And that really is the area that you were highlighting minutes before that watch came out.
Yep, the SPC does indeed have that area under a enhanced risk equivalent for hail, with a 30% non-significant damaging wind for the southeastern portion of that watch. However, they do have also for that area a very weak tornado potential, so could be a tornado or two in that area.
Well, the only thing that really remains at this point is to wait for that new outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. So, Ethan, do you really think that they'll go to a high risk or not?
Personally, I'm not 100% sure. It all depends on how much certainty they have. They could have high levels of uncertainty, and if they do have high levels of certainty, they might run with a high risk. If they have still a wide area of uncertainty like they always have, then they'll remain with a moderate risk.
Just going to jump in real quick. A new tornado warning was just issued for Winston County in east central Mississippi until 3:45 p.m. Central Daylight Time.
So that's just south of the other one that is out right now. Is that the one?
That is just below. That is just south of the one that is confirmed.
Yeah.
The storm I was talking about earlier.
And just to reiterate that new tornado warning is that is currently tornado warned is moving northeast at 75 miles per hour. So quick mover.
Quiet.
But again, just to reiterate, that's only a radar indicated rotation.
Yep, just trying to get that velocity again. There it is. So Not the best quality on that one.
Yeah, right now on the northern storm, I'm getting a correlation coefficient drop at this time, which means that radar is indicating that there is debris being lofted in the air, so a tornado right now is ongoing south of Ackerman.
Any significant population centers there?
It doesn't. That northern confirmed tornado warning does include Mississippi State University, but not really. There's only about 20,000 people under that northern warning, and I think 16,000 under that southern warning. So a combined roughly 36,000 people or so under a tornado warning right now.
Alright then, this is Force 13 Live. We're still waiting for the latest from the Storm Prediction Center. This is our severe weather briefing, which has been going on for an hour. Full coverage of this event can be found on the Force 13 US channel right now. I believe my face is on it at the moment, doing something or other. But you can go there, search Force 13 US live, and you'll find that live stream ongoing right now, and subscribe to that channel. It's not very often that we borrow some coverage on the main channel, but this kind of situation sort of warranted it, because it could well be, well, it will probably be the biggest event of the year so far. We'll see how it stands up to the rest of the season, but obviously that's why we wanted to put out some extra coverage with 2 live streams on our network, which doesn't happen very often at all. But not a huge amount happening out there. There is those 2 tornado warnings, so obviously in eastern Mississippi that's something to be watching out for right now. If you are in those tornado warnings, take cover now. Doesn't matter what the circumstances are, where we are in relation to the virus, take cover wherever you can.
Now, Craig, how fast are these 2 tornado warnings moving right now?
Let me just check for you. The confirmed tornado warning is currently moving at the same speed, moving as it was at the bottom one. My warning box is overlapped. That's the problem. Right. So our confirmed tornado warning, it was moving east at 45 miles per hour, and our radar indicator rotation cell was moving northeast at 75.
That's quite interesting to have 2 storms.
That is
moving at about 30 miles an hour difference.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Whilst we wait for that update, if you do have any questions for us, send them in. There won't be much time to do that, I expect. So be snappy about that. Start your message with Force 13, all in text. And of course you can follow us on our usual social outlets, which will be keeping you up to date as well on Facebook and Twitter. Search Force 13. And you can also join the discussion on our Discord server. The link to that should be in the description. Let me check. Yes, it is there. It's the first link that you'll see on our description page if you want to discuss the situation with other storm trackers.
Now, at this time, we are currently awaiting the Storm Prediction Center's Day 1 Outlook issuance. They were scheduled to issue it 3 minutes ago. If I were them, I would run with a high risk, given the clearing that has been ongoing across Alabama and Mississippi. But it is all up to them. Regardless of what they run with, they will be issuing a PDS Tornado Watch within probably, I would say, an hour or so, probably closer to 30 minutes. For portions of northern Alabama and southern Tennessee. So quite soon.
Here's another look at those tornado warned areas now on velocity, and you can quite clearly see those 2 areas. The one further north is clearly more well established. The one further south, the radar signature just passing slightly south of Louisville there.
So, Craig, what are you seeing on these 2 tornado warnings right now?
Well, the
Well,
radar
CC drop warning.
said that the radar said that I'm using. If you were referring to velocity, which I know you're not, but the velocity is not giving me much clearing. But I'm just going to check the CC right now, and it's not giving me a clear enough correlation coefficient drop at the minute. I'm just going to check again, reference back to our rotations and where they're located at this precise moment in time. See if it might just be a bit of range folding issues, which I think that it's my GR's having issues with, but the minute there's still the confirmed tornado, which I'm going to say that there still is, but unfortunately my correlation coefficient's absolute whack because it's suffering from range folding from the radar.
Alright, there was another question. How high will the tornado threat be in Virginia tonight into tomorrow?
Well, really for Virginia, as I said earlier, we're looking at a given 10% significant chance of a tornado within the area there that the SPC has outlined other than a new. So, could be seeing some significant tornadoes tomorrow. Though I don't think that it'll be any level close to what we're going to be seeing today.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty clear.
Keeping an eye on the Louisville storm right now. The Louisville storm definitely has a wall cloud. It looks very looks like it could drop a tornado.
Is this something? Alright, so nothing.
We just had an update to the Starkville, the northern tornado warning, and it's down to radar indicated.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I would have still run with a confirmed tornado.
Yeah, me too. Alright, we are still passing the time waiting for that new outlook. Well, we're not passing time, obviously these tornado warnings are quite serious. But we still get the distinct impression that this is only a snapshot of what remains to come later on. But at this point, we're just waiting for that latest outlook, which we were expecting just a few moments ago. 7 minutes past the hour now, and we'll wait and see whether they issue a high. Ethan, do you think the other areas might be extended or pulled back? Or anyone else?
I'm not sure. I think other
even
areas.
Nelson?
Go ahead. I think Ethan has stepped away for a moment. I can see that. Obviously, we're going to see to the west side, it's going to be pulled back there. I see a few more risks being applied to the north, getting up into Tennessee, Northern Virginia, not Northern Virginia, Georgia, I'm sorry, and into the Carolinas with the next update.
Alright, we will bring it to you as soon as it comes out, but they're going to keep us on the air for as long as they can, aren't they? Because we were gonna sign off after that came out and leave you with the US coverage, but we'll continue to wait on that. If you do have more questions, send in your messages. There was another question there about Morehead City, North Carolina. What do we think about there? Think they're just about marginal for today?
Yeah, it's going to take so long for the storms to get all the way over there that, we don't want to give pinpoint forecasts because you simply can't. Certainly there's a risk there, and there's going to be a risk. I would expect that there will be some severe weather in the area, but as far as timing, as far as exactly what, we simply can't pinpoint it this far out.
So we continue to look at those potential tornadic signatures in eastern Mississippi right now. Craig, anything else that you'd want to point out?
Just that there was a brand new severe thunderstorm warning issued north of our old confirmed tornado warning. Trying to get the warning box to pop up. There we go. The National Weather Service in Memphis has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Chickasaw County and northeastern Mississippi, southern Etowah County and northeastern Mississippi, I'm trying to read this off as quickly as I can. Southeastern Lee County and northeastern Mississippi, northern Monroe County and northeastern Mississippi until 3:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 3:07 p.m. Central Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm was located near Houston, moving east at 55 miles per hour. Hazard 60 mile per hour wind gusts.
The new SPC's come out, and for some reason they're staying moderate.
Yep, new day one outlook is out. They are dropping the moderate risk across southeastern Arkansas and Louisiana. They are remaining with a moderate risk really east of the Interstate 35 corridor, eastwards towards the Interstate 75 corridor. That remains a quite interesting outlook.
I honestly disagree with them, but
Ethan, have they extended it any further north?
They've actually shrunken it down.
Wow.
So they did have it briefly for portions of Tennessee. They actually dropped it, interestingly enough.
Well, you find out that you're wrong very quickly on these streams.
They have also extended the hail risk down southeastwards towards western Mississippi for the storms in Oklahoma. So they've also extended that down. The wind risk has yet to update for me, unfortunately.
Should we wait for that, or?
Well, actually, I've got the wind risk. It's actually changed quite significantly.
Oh, okay.
They have actually dropped the 45% significant across Mississippi and into Tennessee, and they've actually moved it towards the main line that is currently going to move east. So that's the day one outlook.
Yeah, so there we go. That's pretty much us done at this point. Does anyone want to add on anything else before we what we're gonna do here? I think we're going to put on some automation, and we'll either get a feed from the US channel or some local sources. But the US channel's really the place to be, because that's where everyone will be continuing the commentary, and we'll have a link for you there on the bottom here. But yeah, go ahead. Floor's open.
The most important thing that I think that we need to relay tonight is have a way to receive watches and warnings. That's very important.
Alright, it's as simple as that.
Especially at night, at least.
Yeah, it can be very dangerous out there during the night. Nelson, about your area, still any signs that you'll be getting any activity?
No real indication of any severe weather threat in the area. It's still very, very windy outside. I think there might be some downed power lines due to tree limbs, but given the new SBC outlooks and the way that the watches have evolved over the day, I hope that it's going to be a fairly safe day in New Orleans.
Good to hear, and we'll see the latest updates live as they come in on our screen here. But for more commentary and discussion, go to our Force 13 US channel. We're signing off here on Force 13 Live. We thought it was necessary to bring this to you on the international platform, because it is a rather important event, and well, Easter might be ruined for quite a few people. Let's hope not, though. But it does appear to be a very serious outbreak that is about to be underway. Thanks for joining me, the team, tonight. It's been great to have you once again, and to you for watching. I've not really been with it recently, so I've been stumbling here and there, but there we go. We'll be back again at another point, and we still need to upload those short versions of the hurricane outlooks as well, but we'll get there sooner or later. Bear with us. But for now, good night and stay safe.
Bye.